The newsday continues here in One News Now Business. I'm Diego Castro. Here are the biggest stories on the economic and corporate fronts. The Bangko Sentral expects the country's economic growth to miss the government's full-year targets. BSP Governor Eli Remolona says the GDP may settle below the DBCC's target of 6 to 7% of 2023 and 6.5% to 8% for 2024 and 2025. Remolona says the economy is projected to operate close to potential on average this year. However, economic headwinds, along with the impact of policy tightening, are seen to hamper activity.
But the strength of economic activity going forward is likely to moderate as pent-up demand wanes and the full impact of prior monetary policy tightening continues to manifest.
Private Sector Advisory Council lead for Jobs, Joey Concepcion, highlights the importance of returning to office work in maintaining economic activity. Speaking to the big story, Concepcion expressed concern about the potential consequences of keeping widespread remote work on the economy. He explained that while there are challenges to office work like heavy traffic and challenge in maintaining work-life balance, the economy relies on mobility and activity in city centers, especially micro, small, and medium enterprises like canteens. The country's economic expansion fell to 4.3% in the second quarter after bouncing back from COVID recession.
After the pandemic, I've seen our workforce slacken. It was not the same. We want to build a workforce that is united, that's driven, and you need to be in the office to socialize.
To give us his insights on the impact of remote work on the growth of both the IT BPO sector and the overall economy, we have with us on the show Jack Madrid, President of the IT and Business Process Association of the Philippines, or IBPAP. Good morning, sir, and thank you very much for joining us on One News Now.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak. Good to be here.
Yes, sir, let's get right to it. IT BPO sector has long embraced the work-from-home culture. But do you agree that the return of in-office work should be encouraged to boost economic growth?
You know, the world of work has changed, and that change was accelerated by the pandemic.
Yes.
I believe the future of work is already happening, and it is about flexibility.
Okay.
Unlike other industries, the work that the IT BPM industry performs can be done from anywhere.
Okay.
And given that, the diversity of the tasks and the functions and services that the Filipino workforce performs, I think we need to continue to be flexible to adapt to the needs of employers, our customers, as well as the employees. If you listen to the voice of the employee, they will say that they want flexibility. However, that does not mean 100% work from home.
Yes.
I think we also need to consider the needs of the customers. At the end of the day, they are paying for the services, and I think they have a say in where their services are to be performed.
That's right.
The on-the-ground reality at the moment is that there is a gradual return amongst our industry workforce towards working in the office. And this is because our global customers have demanded or required them to return to work. And I estimate that to be along the range of 70, 30. 70 in the office, 30 on hybrid mode. So that's where we are. The number is different depending on the vertical of the IDBPM sector. Depends on the customers, but it also depends on the voice of the employee. So we need to strike a balance, but that exact ratio will be different. There is no one size fits all.
Okay, I'm sure, sir, you've heard what Joy Concepcion said about on-site work. It does boost economic activity. However, on the other side of the fence, they're saying that if we have less travel time or less time on the road, we have more spending power. That's on the side of the people who work. So what do you think would be now the best compromise?
Well, that compromise is an important one, but I think it will vary also depending on
Hmm.
the customer, depending on the employer, and it depends also on the preferences of the employee.
Right.
The world of work has become more complicated. We have the gig economy that is a reality, and that is predominantly work from home.
Mm.
So the dynamics of our economy has also changed because of the pandemic. And obviously, we all have to adjust. I think we are all still finding that optimal ratio between the need to work from anywhere as
Yes,
well as the need to return to the office.
that's right.
But at the end of the day, I believe that businesses should be left to run the businesses as they see fit,
Okay.
and they will have to consider the needs of both employees as well as their customers. Today, we are approximately 70-30 if we were to aggregate it.
Okay.
That seems like a reasonable or comfortable balance. But again, what we also see is an evolution of the industry towards returning to their home
Yes.
cities and home provinces. A big part of the growth plans of the IT BPM industry will be in the countryside. In fact, we think that 54% of our industry's growth will
Hmm.
come from outside Metro Manila. And that is a good thing
Yes. Yes.
because the IT BPM industry has only the challenge of talent supply
Yes.
for us to continue and achieve our ambitious goal of adding 1 million jobs by the end of 2028. And if we try and make things difficult for investors and
Hmm.
employees by forcing them to return to the office, then our ability to achieve 1 million jobs will be certainly affected. So I think we need to strike a balance. We all want the same thing. We all want more jobs for Filipinos.
Yes,
We
that's right.
all want to add 1 million jobs for the IT BPM industry. And I think that Joey and ourselves and PSAC, we all want the same thing, but we just need to align on how we achieve that ambitious goal.
That's right. But sir, the BPO IT sector was one of the sectors that thrived ever since the pandemic began and continues to thrive. How would you then assess the performance of the IT BPO sector from work from home setup ever since the pandemic began until now? Do you think
That's a very
yes, sir.
good question. During the pandemic, we added 255,000 new
Mm-hmm.
jobs to Filipinos countrywide.
Okay.
I don't know of any other industry that grew during COVID. The thing is, that happened only because we allowed work flexibility. We allowed, in the height of lockdowns and quarantines, we allowed our employees to return to their homes because that was what was needed, and it was not easy for our workforce. Unlike North America, unlike Europe,
Mm-hmm.
our Filipino employees don't have a home office. So it was no small feat to mobilize 1 million
That's
employees
right.
and their IT equipment in a matter of weeks so that we could continue serving our global customers. And you know what happened?
Mm-hmm.
We performed our job so well without any effect on productivity or customer satisfaction that there's even more demand for the IT BPM industry in the Philippines. We are a world capital in this space
Yes.
alongside India. I would argue that we actually are the leader in customer experience. I consider our industry to be the Swiss bank of global IT BPM. Not the biggest,
Yes.
but the best. And I think we need to increase the renown of the Filipino workforce by giving them the flexibility that they prefer.
Yeah, I've been hearing you say, sir, flexibility, and I've heard that also from the other side of the fence of people who are working. They want this flexibility. But let's talk about the impact work from home setup will have on office spaces. How will this affect this landscape on the Philippines moving forward?
Yes, certainly the property sector is is one sector that continues to monitor, the growth of the industry. One trend that we have seen in trying to attract people back to the offices is a flight to quality. And I think this is important. The quality of workspace is an important factor for our employees, and I think our investors and our locators are addressing that. We are seeing a much improved work environment. We are seeing more open space, more collaborative space, more room for training, and better facilities overall to improve the quality of the work environment. This is a global trend, but we are seeing it here, not just in Manila, but in all the emerging cities and provinces that I have visited in the past month. So this is good news for the workforce, but I think it's also something that the property sector has been able to address by improving the quality of office space. Now, in terms of office supply, obviously that is a short-term factor.
Yes.
Obviously, everyone in the industry is reassessing and repurposing the role of office space. But I think the name of the game today is really a flight to quality.
Flight to quality. It, very interesting insight, sir, but unfortunately, that's all the time we have for now. We do hope to talk to you again. Thank you very much for joining us, IBPAP President Jack Madrid.
Thank you very much.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Diego Castro. There will be no reprieve for motorists this month, as the Energy Department admits that there will be no oil price rollbacks in August. The agency cited tightening production of oil from Saudi Arabia and Russia. They added that there is a looming supply shortage of about 2.8 million barrels daily. This comes at the back of another pump price hike on Tuesday. Since July 18, petroleum prices have risen by 8 to 10 pesos per liter. This prompted transport groups Pasang Mazda and Altodap to call for a 5 peso increase in the minimum fare for jeepneys to bring the total to 17 pesos from the current 12. They filed a petition before the LTFRB on Tuesday. Pasang Mazda President Obet Martin told Radio 5 that deliberations on their appeal might take some time. That's why they are asking for an immediate provisional increase of at least 1 peso. Other groups earlier asked the LTFRB for a 2 peso fare hike and a surcharge fee of 1 peso during rush hours.
Ito hong mga pagtaas na nangyari neto sa loob ng 3 linggo ay nawawalan na po, Ma'am Sherry, lang ating mga jeepney drivers ng more than 400 pesos a day. Kanya po yung aming inihain with prayers ng provisional increase of 1 peso po para lamang mapantayan yung maggastos ng pagtaas ng ating petroleum product.
The Tourism Department anticipates some 600,000 spectators for the upcoming FIBA World Cup. The agency said this includes both domestic and foreign tourists. Still, the final count will be determined by FIBA. To ensure the game's success, the DOT has partnered with a tourism consortium that's looking to offer World Cup tour packages. This would encourage clients to explore the Philippines' tourist spots aside from watching the game. Meanwhile, Gilas Pilipinas held an open practice last night at the PhilSports Arena, where only 13 of the previous 16-man pool attended. Calvin Oftana, Bobby Ray Parks Jr., and 30 Ravenna all did not attend. Parks and Ravenna have earlier been reported to have been dropped from the choices for the final 12-man World Cup roster. Gilas has until today to submit its final roster for the Worlds. Gilas head coach Chot Reyes says the teams fit with each other's gameplay as well as their objectives in the tournament will be among the factors in the final 12.
Fit with the way we want to play and fit with each other's styles, with each other's style of play, and more than anything is I guess really the players who we feel give us the best chance.
And those are the top business stories of the hour. I'm Diego Castro. Join us again at 2 p.m. We are One News. The FIBA World Cup starts August 25. Support Gilas. Support Team Pilipinas. Watch and buy tickets to the biggest sports event of the year.